My name is Alex Unrein, and we're in the middle of, basically, one of the oldest districts in Central. I actually started becoming a tour guide in Hong Kong, and I do cultural tours, but specifically a lot of street art tours. For me, it started on a rainy summer day. I was kind of hunched underneath my umbrella. I'm walking down the street and someone had painted in big, bright yellow letters, "This is really crap weather." That just was a moment where I was like, this is amazing. Someone was reading my mind. So I started looking around me more carefully, and that was a moment that kicked off my fascination for street art. I've basically been street art chasing for 9 to 10 years by now. I started in my hometown of Berlin. When I came here to Hong Kong for the first time in 2010, I started looking around right away. There wasn't that much. I really had to look around even for stickers and paste ups. There was some graffiti. Actually, the rest of the world has had graffiti and street art since the late 60s, early 70s, and street art since the early 2000s, and Hong Kong really only just started in the 2010s. And street art here as well goes basically from simple stickers to paste ups, which are basically posters, there's mosaics. There are obviously the big murals now. There's just no limit to street art. It's basically any kind of art that you can imagine, but out in the streets for everyone to see, to be accessible. You don't need to go to a museum or into a gallery in order to experience and to enjoy it. I try to catch the people while they're still painting, interview them, and put it together in a tour, compact, so that people that come and visit the city basically can see the street art within 2 to 4 hours. That is one of the original remaining Invader pieces from his so-called invasion in 2015. In 2014 he was here and he left 48 pieces in the city, and most of them unfortunately were taken down by the government because they were put up illegally. The HOCA, which was Hong Kong Contemporary Art, they invited him back in 2015 to recreate all the pieces from 2014. He also put up a series of new ones. These days there should have been somewhere around 133 Invaders, and I think there are about maybe 60, 70 left. He really tried to do something that relates somehow to Hong Kong. So here he did a little dragon with the Invader on top. When I take people on a tour, I quite often actually start at the step of these stairs. And even if they live in town, they hardly ever have seen this little piece because it perfectly blends in. So this one was actually painted by British artist Dan Kitchener. This was done for HK Walls for the festival. It's absolutely fascinating to see Dan work. This whole wall basically took a day and a half, and he's really fast. He basically starts out with drawing white lines, which he calls ghost lines, and then he basically starts filling in the color. And he has this very distinct style, which looks very kind of like it's a nightscape. It looks neon lit, a little bit rainy almost all of the time. It has this very Asian touch, so this is actually Tokyo. This piece is basically known as Hong Kong's most famous mural. Alex Croft, a locally based artist, come here, paint this wall in 2012. For 2 years, not a lot of things happened. But then basically in 2014, Yi Chan-wook came. He took a picture during one of his promotional tours. He has, I think, 8 million followers on Instagram. That thing just basically took off. And people these days come and they take pictures in front of it. Going from the GOD or Alex Croft's wall, you would think if you just turn around and have have another look, you will actually see Dan Kitchener's wall. But believe it or not, a lot of people really overlook it. And it's too bad because this is such a beautiful piece. The most rewarding part for me, especially in the end, is when people say, now I see. People develop an attention to the detail. They become really more attentive to their surroundings. That actually is a beauty. Once you start seeing street art, you start looking for it, you actually start seeing again.